Exciting news. We're doing another one book in one sitting reading challenge today. My name is Mandy. Welcome back to my page. If you're new here, you're probably new here because I've only posted like a handful of YouTube videos, but I have just started doing this series where we try to read one book in one sitting. There's an extra episode up on my TikTok, but we are doing both TikTok and a little long form moment today for the Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. I have been thinking about this book for months. Like every time I'm at the library or I'm at the bookstore or I'm religiously checking my Libby holds, I'm like, please let the Martian Chronicles be there. But at the bookstore, I go visit it and I say hello to it because I've really been wanting to read it, but I've really been wanting to read it through the library first. That just wasn't happening. It just was absolutely not happening. And I saw this adorable little mass market size the other day. I've recently started collecting vintage mass markets. These are on my vintage mass markets though. This one is obviously new, but the rest are vintage. And I asked for just random, thrifted, again, vintage sci-fi or fantasy mass markets for Christmas, just from different family members. Like, no specific requests outside of sci-fi and fantasy, so I'm really excited to see if anyone gets me some more. And I do need a new bookshelf. I'm out of space, so that's another problem for another day. This one is obviously not vintage. This is a very new mass market. However, I think it's adorable, it's beautiful, and I'm so excited to finally sit down and read this book. So we're going to head to the coffee shop today. I did do a poll on my Instagram like a week ago to prepare for this video. Everyone said to read a library book and do the reading challenge at the library. We're not reading a library book and we're going to a coffee shop, but it's fine. I also have a friend who is meeting me there when she gets out of her class. So we are going to have to pause the reading challenge to hang out with her for a little bit. She's one of my friends from Bloomington, where I lived for almost 10 years. Same for her and her partner. But she is originally from northwestern Indiana, which is where I have moved to. And her partner moved here at the same time as me and my partner. And we are each other's cat sitters. We were the last cat sit for them for like a week while they were gone. And we are going to be gone for Thanksgiving. So they are going to be watching our kittens for us. So we're meeting to exchange the key, catch up, obviously, vent about life, I don't know, and drink some coffee. So at some point we will be pausing this. I don't know how long this is going to take. Mass markets I feel like are deceiving with the length, like both with size and page count. This has 241 pages and it is pretty thin. I think he approves of the book choice. But with mass markets, the pages are also typically pretty thin. The font size is typically smaller. So it's like, I don't know if this is going to be quicker or longer than my previous times. I don't know. Especially with a friend coming, like, I'm gonna be yapping. Y'all. I did not realize that the coffee shop closes early on Mondays. They close at 4 p.m. We were just catching up for a while and the time has flown by. I've only been doing the reading challenge for maybe an hour and a half, I would say, but I'm not going home until I finish this book. So we are moving to the public library because they are open until 8 p.m. and it's only a few blocks away, thankfully. So we're not going to lose any momentum, even though I genuinely have not read for hours at this point because I've been hanging out with her. But also I was really hungry. We did get something to eat, which was nice. I did treat her since, again, she's watching my cats for many, many days. It's so gray out right now. Gray and gloomy. A bit chilly, but not like too cold. Like I'm just in a jacket and a t-shirt, it's fine. I'm on page 93, I think. The spine is cracking. We are not leaving until I finish this book. I had to put my pajamas on and eat as soon as I got home. I had toast for breakfast, a bagel sandwich, and some hot honey chips for lunch when my friend was at the cafe with me, and that was it. And I didn't get home until like 5:30. Pitch black outside, by the way. It gets dark at like 4 o'clock here now. It's totally fine. I ended up finishing this in 3 hours and 33 minutes. I did the calculations. I started at 12:06 p.m. and read until 1:39 p.m. Then my friend gets there. We hang out for a while. At like 3:15, we ended up leaving because we realized the cafe closed at 4. And I'm not trying to be in there. We were the only 2 people in there. I'm like, we are potentially preventing these baristas from being able to like sweep and mop, flip the chairs, like do all that kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, let's just go. But the library, thank God, is open till 8 p.m. Blessed. So I got there. By the time I got there and got adjusted, I started reading at 3:30 and finished at exactly 5:30. Damn, so I didn't get home. I shopped around the library after. I didn't go home until like 6. I was gone for 6 hours, 6.5 hours for that. But so it took me 3 hours and 33 minutes. Angel numbers to finish this book. It did, in fact, this is the longest it's ever taken me to finish a book in one of these challenges. I completely forgot with mass markets. Let me find an example for you here. They like, there's no page breaks. Or no, that's not true. There's no breaks between chapters, where in a traditional book, if a chapter ends at the top of the page, the rest of the page is blank and it'll start on the next one. Or sometimes they just do whole blank pages between. Mass markets, as you can see, the chapter ends here and the next one just starts right there. So there's like no breathing room in this. Like the page count is what you get. There's text for the entire page for every page. Whereas Ring Shout, when I read that, had like 11 pages before the actual text started, flipping through, and for whatever reason that was included in the page count. And then Tremor had like a typical book would, blank pages between chapters. So despite this being 241 pages, it was actually much longer than the other 2. So I'm still proud of myself. Also, I have been picking my nail polish off. I need to redo them for Thanksgiving. So if you don't know what the Martian Chronicles is about, it is the Martian perspective of humans coming to Mars and colonizing them, basically. This reads like a short story collection, though, I will say. And as a self-proclaimed short story hater, I don't mean that in a bad way. Every single chapter is from a completely new perspective, and I also feel like every chapter tackles a completely different topic within the overarching themes of this book of, again, colonization, human rights, basic needs and principles, like all of that kind of stuff. But the first few chapters we are seeing are the first 4 expeditions of humans to Mars, and they get there and the Martians like don't believe them. The Martians speak through telepathy, and they can also create like optical illusions and auditory illusions, tactical illusions. They can create all of that. So the Martians think that these are just other Martians who have gone crazy and are so deep in their own delusions and believing their own hallucinations, and that they are like changing the way that they appear in other people's minds, you know, and that the rocket they came in on isn't actually real. And then people like think the crazy is contagious. This does span over a couple decades. We get perspectives again from astronauts, from the Martians themselves, from families. We have all ends of the spectrum covered. We have someone who is intelligent and capable enough to build himself lifelike robots that mimic his family, that can survive for hundreds of years on their own with no human interference. And then there's this other guy who's like, I just want to have the best hot dog stand on Mars. No one better get in my way of opening my hot dog stand on Mars. And so we get to see people of all different backgrounds experience Mars and also talk about the atrocities happening on Earth. And so everyone's taking their opportunity to flee to Mars. But I don't want to go too into detail about this because I really did enjoy this. I do think this is something that everyone should read. And I believe this came out in the 40s. Let me double check. Yeah, this came out in 1945 and it feels very current. I did think it was kind of cool that we're starting in, I believe, like 99. Let me see. Yeah, so the book starts in 1999 and then it ends in 2026. And it was so weird to be reading a book that came out in the 40s, that starts in the 90s, and then ends in like a year from now. Just so weird. Like, to think that at the time this book came out, 2026 was such an unattainable, unimaginable, out of reach year to even comprehend. They didn't even know what Y2K was going to be like yet. The computers, they were so far from that. And now it's like, oh, we are a month and a week away from 2026. Actually insane. So it ends October 2026. And I'm like, oh my god, me in a year. How crazy. How literally crazy. Why am I not on Mars? I'm giving this a solid 4.75 stars. There was one chapter in particular that kind of killed the pacing for me. It really lulled and took me out of the story a little bit. It was actually a chapter about the House of Usher, like Edgar Allan Poe, oddly enough. It felt completely different than the rest of the chapters and not in a good way. So that's really my only reason, I'll be honest, for not giving this a higher rating. The writing was beautiful. Other than that chapter, the pacing was fantastic. Like, I was, turning every page I was turning, I was excited to see what I was going to read on the following page. I haven't read Ray Bradbury since high school. Fahrenheit 451 was just required reading for all of us. I also, don't read classics. Ever. So I do feel, accomplished. Having read such a prolific author in the year of our Lord and Savior, 2025, who'd have ever thought I'd get here? But I do recommend this book, honestly. I did crack the spine. Can you see her? Her spine has been cracked. Literally, don't look at my nails. They look so bad. Oh. I made some leftover Mexican rice, some leftover refried beans, and had a couple over medium eggs. Put that on top of the rice and beans. That was my dinner. It was so delicious. And as soon as we got done eating dinner, I just started picking away at these nails. I am going to redo them for Thanksgiving, which I am very excited for. I'm very proud of myself though. I feel like I accomplished a lot today. I read an entire book, but I also made 3 videos today. I've edited one already. Obviously, I'm still working on this one right now. And then I did film like a library shopping vlog after I finished the Martian Chronicles. So I've got to get stuff edited, and then tomorrow I've got to get all my Pango orders mailed out, and I have to make a Little Free Library unhaul. I'm very excited for that. We'll be making content for both of those. I will also be making a YouTube video unhauling both Pango and Little Free Libraries, one combined video, so keep your eye out for that. That'll be coming soon, but you know, I have to finish dropping all of these off and mailing all of these out before that one can come out. I'm trying to prepare for being gone over Thanksgiving content-wise, because I'll be gone for a few days. Don't break into my house because someone's gonna be here watching the cats. So joke's on you, my house isn't empty. I am going to Tennessee for Thanksgiving, it's where my dad lives, and I have requested that we explore all the bookstores down there, so I'm hoping to thrift some more vintage mass markets. I've just really been into it lately. And I want to read, there's a couple that I want to read soon from my new collection. The Wheel of Time's obviously not going to be read soon because I don't have all of them, but The Snow Queen and Orbit are the 2 that I'm like, I really am itching to read those ones. Apparently I'm in my sci-fi era, y'all. That is a rare thing for me. Very rare. But overall, a very good day. I'm excited to get to editing. Thank you guys for watching. Keep an eye out for my unhauling video. That'll be out next week probably. And then Vlogmas is coming soon. I have a lot of plans for us. We're going to be wrapping presents. We're going to be Christmas book shopping. We'll go through my December Christmas TBR. We'll be reading those books together, having a good time. I need to put my Christmas tree up as soon as we're back from Thanksgiving. We're putting that tree up. I don't trust my cats in that tree without my 24-hour supervision. Happy reading, Pookies. Thank you for watching as always. Bye.